Roughly every 4 years, the most seasoned offshore sailors circumnavigate the world in the Ocean Race. When the 2020 edition was postponed to 2021 due to COVID-19, the 11th Hour Racing team decided to relocate training aboard their new IMOCA 60 from France back to the team's home in Newport, Rhode Island.
We just feel grateful to be able to go sailing, and we've been trying to do that in the most responsible and healthy way possible. So we're taking the whole COVID thing very seriously, and in some ways being out in the middle of the ocean is the most isolated bubble you can get. To have the boat back in the water with the new foil and the big upgrade is just an incredible feeling.
I'm pretty happy to be on our way. France is lovely. I miss going offshore.
Whenever you do a transatlantic from east to west, it's kind of like being a bug on a windshield. You're sailing into the weather systems, and so it happens quickly. There's a lot of transitions, and that's good for us because we need to see a little bit of everything with our new foil and our new systems, some new sail combinations. So we'll test just by going sailing, but we definitely have some areas that we've pinpointed that we'd like to explore on the way across.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting trip because there's plenty of weather coming.
Definitely less sleep forecast for the next couple of days. With the front half of the boat fully out of the water on the foil, the impact of the waves right under the cockpit and cabin area is a little different than I think anything we've experienced in the past.
It's a wild beast. It's going to take a while to tame, but definitely a different feeling on deck sailing the boat than it is down below. Down below, you feel like you're in a torch chamber. Yeah, last night we saw a bit of hanering. Routing had us kind of sailing the death angle into this low, like 90 true and 30 knots with day 3 and 2 reefs. Got a little more exciting than maybe we needed to see. So we got some good data at that point of sail, and then here we are doing something different going into this next shift.
Well, one option is we could just get on the other tack and go upwind on the other tack.
First time with a sponsor that's actually, got sustainability at the heart. Personally, it's quite an important message. I grew up on an island, finding all the microplastic on the beach, and trying to protect my home, and it'd be nice to see that spread throughout kind of the sailing community a little bit more, and protecting our playground.
So new to us on this trip, we have some stasher bags, which are reusable silicone bags, which we found to be very handy. Instead of using single-use plastic bags, we can use these stasher bags to store our snacks, our food, whatever we need. And then when we leave the boat, we can wash them and reuse them for the next leg. So it allows us to buy in bulk and reduce our overall footprint. The goal is to reduce, certainly, the amount of plastic that we use, but realizing that some of it is, at least at this stage, inevitable, we do our best to make sure it ends up in the right place. There's a whole other element to this trip, which is centered around livability. Just getting 6 people together on a boat, able to eat, sleep, use the restroom. There's some other things that we're doing for the Ocean Race. We got a science experiment on board. We got a drifter buoy that we're going to drop essentially halfway across the Atlantic, where due to coronavirus, there's been very little research done over the last couple months. Weaving that into the fabric of the trip is very much important to what we're doing.
There's no hiding the fact that we're learning to sail on a boat that's really spent the last period of its life being optimized for single-handed sailing. So we're finding new and interesting places to sleep, and actually when you're sleeping on the beanbag here, the science equipment gives a nice little place to wedge in. So yeah, getting close to science. We turned this on when we left France a couple of weeks ago, and it's been running non-stop ever since. There's a constant feed of water coming in where it's tested and sampled. There's CO2 measurements, the salinity measurements, the temperature measurements. When the water's been sampled, it then runs out, and there's a constant flow of new water all the time. We also have a feed in from our GPS system, so it's still geolocated. And once we get to Newport at the other end, you can plug in our memory stick, download all the data, and send it off for analysis.
Coming back to Newport for me personally is always very special because I grew up here, learned to sail here. Narragansett Bay is, in more ways than one, my home. It's also the home of 11th Hour Racing. It's really our home port, our base. So to do some training out of here this fall, 6 good weeks, is going to feel really good, really special, really lucky.
wake up in my own bed and go to work here in this beautiful part of the world every day.